seasons come and seasons go. And so it's that kind of thing where do you have enough reserve or whichever one to be able to survive during that, that time when you need it the most. Hey guys, welcome to Meet the Owner. If you're looking to make an impact through business and social media, you are in the right place. As always, my name's Chiko. I'm here with Dr. Arnold. How you doing, Arnold?
I'm good. Just ready for the day. Got some plans to sort out a bench outside. We've got a bench from the shop last week, and I've got to now construct it. So hopefully I do a good job of it. So I'll see yourself.
Yeah. Today, busy day again. Been trying to have a relaxed week, but I still got a lot going on. So mainly working from home today. Hopefully gets productive, get some things done. It should be good. So let's get straight into it. Today, one of the things that we're looking at was a Tesco article on Sky News. It says Tesco counts cost of pandemic as profits slide 20% despite exceptional sales, which is a bit of a crazy one. So basically they're saying the sales have been great, they've sold more, but the profits have gone down because of the costs that they had to incur, during the pandemic, which just got us thinking about, wait a minute, so obviously as much as you can increase sales, profits are still coming down, and it shows you the importance of preparing for these kind of times. Being able to have, whether it's reserves or whatever they needed, to make sure that even as the profits go down, they're still able to cover, everything that they need to cover and that sort of thing. So one thing that we thought about talking about today really is the challenges that we're facing as businesses. How are we preparing? If lockdown came again, what would you be doing? So Arnold, if you just kind of kick us off, what kind of things have we learned from the lockdown? How are we now kind of looking to prepare for the challenges that we're going to face going forward?
Yeah, I think the first thing that I'd say from that news article is the fact that that's Tesco. That's a big chain, a big supermarket chain. So they're actually in an industry where they could stay open for most of the lockdown because they're, essential services, food. So if they who could stay open, if Tesco could stay open, still sell, and still have a profit, but a lower profit than normal, what about people that couldn't trade or couldn't sell at all? They must have been hit much, much harder because, when Tesco was open for some periods of time during the pandemic, you couldn't really go anywhere else. So, Tesco almost had like a good market share. If you were close to a Tesco, you're going to have to go to a Tesco. And even they've suffered. So how much more would people who couldn't stay open, how much more did they suffer? And now it's thinking about if COVID-20 was to come next month and we had to all go on a lockdown again in the same way, how would we be able to now be better prepared for that situation? Because there's always something that happens, whether it's a recession, whether it's COVID, something always happens. So, and we can choose to remain the same as before and be caught off guard again, or we can choose to be better prepared so that we're stronger, and if something was to happen in the future, we can still ride it out and not go bankrupt or lose everything. I think some of the things that I've been definitely improving on is my reserves. So in terms of having, at least a 3-month emergency fund, so that if there was absolutely no income, I would still be okay. Me and my wife would still be all right for a good 3 months. So that's something that we really focused in on and built on since this whole experience of the pandemic. So that's just one of the things, having a good amount of cash reserves so that you can still survive, pay the mortgage, pay for food and bills. Yeah, how about you, Chiko?
And I agree with what you're saying about reserves, because sometimes I think it's not. Sometimes businesses go down simply because of cash flow. It's simply because there was just that 1 month in which they needed this money to pay for something, and they would be fine, and they didn't have that, and their whole business completely fell apart. Whereas if they just had just that small amount for that month to be able to just hold on, things would change, because obviously seasons come and seasons go. And so it's that kind of thing where do you have enough reserve, or whichever one, to be able to survive during that, that time when you need it the most. And because I remember one of my former bosses, he always used to say, one of the most important things in business is cash flow. It's cash flow, making sure, there's always something in there such that you're able to tide it over all the difficult moments. And also, it's also things like, for me, it was things like trying to adapt, just like Tesco's, like, fortunately, we were able to do well during the pandemic. Sales were still there, we were still able to get clients, and therefore money was still coming in, which was quite good, which was really good, actually, which was really, really fortunate. But then, just like Tesco's, as much as that was happening, the costs went up as well, in the sense that, because now you're trying to do a lot more things from home. When we were doing, let's say, the interviews, we were trying to do more of them from Zoom. So it was about things like getting lights. And also, one thing, I realized that my laptop was just completely inadequate because it was just really slow. So to be able to sustain all of those Zooms and, all the different things that we had to do, I had to get a new laptop and, all of these different things. But that was good, though, still, because now with all of those things that I've got, I'm more prepared. I'm more prepared for a time like that to happen. If there was a time when I had to do more things on Zoom or inside at home, I have more of the equipment to be able to handle those times. So there was a little bit of, there's a lot of adjusting and things that we had to learn from what happened for us to be able to survive.
So it's not just reserves, it's also having invested in yourself. So that you're now better equipped to face a diverse range of situations that might come to you. I think there's also opportunity. So the fact that when hard times come, a recession and a pandemic, the fact that some people aren't going to make it through to the other side. So like my local gym opened up again this week on Monday. If other gyms failed to survive through that period, people are still going to want to go to the gym. People are still going to want to go to the swimming pools. So now when things open up again, those gyms, those swimming pools that are still up and running, they're going to get even more customers because people are still going to want to, go to the gym, keep fit, go swimming. So there's also opportunity that if you can ride through the tough times and some of your competitors can't, it means that you'll have more of the market share. Essentially, there's an opportunity there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think to add to that point as well, it's like as those opportunities come, you have to be in a place where you're prepared to take in those opportunities. Let's say, like you said, the gym. So that some other gyms have failed. So that when things open up, there is a possibility that you might have more people than you had before. So it's almost like, what are you doing structurally to make sure that you can handle more people? So, are you making sure that, there's enough people in reception? Are you making sure that there's enough people to answer the phone when it rings? Are you making sure that, the onboarding process is done well enough such that, as new people come in, they're not having issues? Because what you don't want is to open up, have all of this opportunity, and then not be able to handle it, offer people bad customer service, and then them basically just ridicule you, and your reputation is completely ruined.
Yeah.
So you want new people to come in and for them to say they have exceptional service. And you wanna also take into account, what are those people thinking as they're coming to you now? They've just left their gym, their beloved gym, so to say, has just closed down. You have to handle them with a bit of sympathy of, I'm sorry you can't go to your last gym. We're going to try and accommodate you as best as we can. So all of those just little things that we could do, that even when the opportunity comes, we're ready, we're able to handle it, and we're able to do it quite well.
Yeah. And also just the thing of having different income streams, because if you're Tesco, we're still going to need you to be open so we can get our groceries, but there'll be some industries or some self-employed sole traders where you can try and expand, but there's not much you can do to function through a pandemic. Well, there is flexibility though. Let's say you're a dance instructor, you could take your dance lessons online and still try and make that work. So you can have some flexibility, but there's going to be some industries where it's just not possible. So for some people, it's even having something else which actually brings in a decent income through a recession, through a pandemic. So that's where really growing a brand on online starts to really help in that sort of situation, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Instagram. Growing a brand that you can then use to bring in an income, so that even if you can't do what you normally do, you've still got something else bringing in an income.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And it's important. One thing that I was just thinking about as you were speaking is even things like, because another option to increasing the income is to reducing your costs. So, during times like the pandemic, I think it's important. I think generally, whether it's pandemic or not, you should always live below your means. I learned that lesson probably the hardest way. I had to learn that lesson the hard way. Just try and live below your means, such that you're able to generate reserves, such that you're able to handle all the costs, such that even when something happens, if there's a reduction in income, you're not affected as much. So I think that's something really important as a business, as an individual. Try the best that you can to just live below your means. When costs, when income rises, try and I remember again, one of my mentors used to say to me, even when your costs go up, allow a bit of time to, don't increase. Sorry, not your costs. When your income goes up, don't straight away increase your costs. Enjoy it a bit, allow it a bit, and then later on increase a little bit, so that such that you're living, below your means. And another thing that I thought about, just to the point that you made before as well, about having other things that you're doing. So during the pandemic, one thing that I realized is that, so obviously I work with dentists in marketing. One of the things I realized was that, dentists sometimes, or people that are in dentistry, because they not all their team was able to be in and that sort of thing. Some of them were thin on the ground. So one thing that I realized is, okay, maybe I can actually help out in terms of being able to not only just market for them, but being able to help them with, like, let's say, following up on leads and that sort of thing. That was an additional thing that I decided, okay, we should do that. And then over time found that actually brought additional income as well. So like you said, it's looking at the situation, saying, okay, what else can I do based on what's going on and what people's issues are.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm thinking about when pandemic first happened and I couldn't go to work, to the dental practice to work anymore. One of the things that I started was my YouTube channel, and I was just learning how to post content on there, and just using that to really start to grow something that was still dentally related, but it didn't have anything to do with me practicing as a dentist. And what it's actually done is it's allowed me to build resources where I can point my patients to if they need advice on something or to know about something. I've created videos for that. It's also allowed me to now start helping other aspiring dentists as well that want to get into dentistry and just making certain things clearer to them. So I'm able to now have a bigger capacity for what I can do because another avenue through YouTube has been opened up, which I didn't have a year ago. So, you know, if I was to continue growing that, maybe I'll get to a point where it actually starts bringing in an income. And again, that'll be an income where, you know, you do the work once, you make a video, and if that's doing very well, that starts to bring in something. Earn while you're sleeping, isn't that what all these ads that that you see on YouTube say? But yeah, it just brings in a different income stream from starting something which didn't rely on me physically working at a practice.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, because I think that's the thing. I think with all of these different things, it's looking at preparing. You know, life will always throw something at you, whether it's pandemic, like we said, whether it'll be various different challenges, financial, you know, you'll lose people and all of those different things. And it's just looking at what can I be doing to prepare, you know, to prepare for the bad things that happen, the challenges that happen, but also to prepare for the opportunities that arise because of the things that happen. Because it's a crazy almost paradox in the fact that within challenges there's always opportunities, and what tends to happen is that when someone's going through a challenge, what you get protective. You're not trying to go on the offense. You're defensive. You're always thinking, I'm just trying to weather it. I just want to survive. But really, it takes a lot to think, okay, I'm not just trying to survive, but there's also opportunities in here such that after I've survived, I can also thrive. Do you know what I mean?
I totally agree with that. Totally agree. Because I remember somebody I was talking to on a video consultation the other day, and they were saying, you know, I've always wanted to get this cosmetic dental treatment done, but everything's shut down, and the practice that I normally go to is still not seeing people for general treatment and cosmetic treatment. They're still dealing with emergencies. So I really want, you know, to have this cosmetic treatment carried out. And I came across you online, and you're carrying out this treatment, and it was a no-brainer. I just decided to organize a virtual consultation with you instead, and to get this treatment started. So an opportunity arose because I was I had people had an awareness of me online, and what they wanted doing, they knew that they could come to me, they knew how to find me. So again, it's allowed me to be in a much better position going forward, because the awareness of what I do is increased. So people are finding me much more easily, where they would want to normally get the treatment done, not yet open or not yet covering cosmetic treatments, they end up coming to me. So you can end up gaining from setting up in that sort of way.
Yeah, because what I see from what you're saying, it's almost like you're not just running, you're not making decisions just based on fear. You're also making decisions based on what's my ideal client going through, what's on their mind right now. So as much as, yes, I know that they may be fear and all of these different things, but there's also that kind of, I've always wanted to get this done. I still want to get it done. And maybe I have a bit more time than I would have done before now to get it done. But if if all you're doing is listening to fear, instead of to actually listening to your customers and what they want and what they're going through right now, you just end up, you know, running in the same direction that everyone's running in. And it takes courage to be able to say, wait a minute, everyone's running that way. I see an opportunity that way, so I'm going to run in the opposite direction. It just takes a lot of courage to be able to do that, and those are the people that, you know, always succeed in life. Because whenever people tell stories of, you know, how they became successful, You never really hear people say, I went where everyone else was going. You never ever hear that. It was, I dared to stand out. I dared to be different. I dared to speak when everyone was quiet. I dared to do this, and therefore I have achieved this. So like, even during these times when we're facing our challenges, don't just listen to the say, yes, be calculated, take calculated risks, really make sure there's reserves, make sure there's, but really make sure you're the kind of person who thrives in challenge, who kind of, regardless of what's going on, they're able to say, okay, hey, time to go to work now. Let's solve problems. Because that's what business is all about, solving problems. And those that can do that succeed.
And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to make an impact through business and social media. So exactly, make sure that you're providing value, make sure that you're being adaptable, and that you're able to start to develop or grow different things which can bring in income, so that if a pandemic was to happen, if a recession was to happen, you would still be able to go forward and gain even more of the market share. Any final words that you would say, Chiko?
Yeah, I would say, just make sure, coming out of, pandemic and all of these, just make sure, take some time to, before me and Arnold were talking about reflecting, take some time to reflect on what you've learned, throughout this pandemic. What are the things that you're going to take that you've learned that are going to help you get through your next challenge that you're going to face? Because you are going to face another challenge. It may not come in the form of pandemic, but what things have you learned? What principles have you learned that you could use, in the next thing that you're going to face? And, what we want is, for people, and that's why we do this as well. So we do Meet the Owner to try and help people to make sure, we're becoming the kind of business people, entrepreneurs, problem solvers that we need to be for this world and make an impact.
Yep. And guys, make sure to help us out. If you're enjoying these podcasts, follow the Spotify account, follow us on Instagram, MTO. We're also on LinkedIn, on YouTube. Share as well the content with people who you think would benefit, and let's grow this together. We will see you guys all at the next episode. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. See you on the next one.